Hello everyone! Today we're going to be talking to Dr. Lois Gertz to get into the nitty-gritty about how to survive and thrive in your musical career.
I went through a lot of struggle, tears, frustrations, wanting to give up,
Now hang on, there's got to be a way to balance making a living in music and also being an artist. And that's the topic of today's video. When I was 17, a lot of my friends were throwing graduation parties, but I knew my family wasn't going to be able to afford anything so extravagant. So I decided to throw a graduation recital instead. So I got a bunch of my friends together and we just played some music at a local church, and it was a ton of fun! We had a notebook at the front so people could write their contact info so I could thank them for coming, and maybe write a little wish like happy graduation or the kind of thing you would write at a graduation event. And to my surprise, at the end of it, a lot of people came up and they wanted to give money. They wanted to give checks or cash to support future musical projects, which I thought was awesome. I thought to myself, wow, that's incredible. Can it really be this easy to get paid for playing music? The answer is no. But in this video, we're going to discuss how to navigate the situation. And at the end of it, I'm going to give you an awesome resource so you can continue to research the topic on your own and build your own musical career, no matter what stage you're in. So, stick around for that. In order to keep developing your musical skills and eventually create the musical product that you want to share with the world, you're going to have to find a way to sustain yourself financially. And unfortunately, but realistically, this takes money. You might have to learn other skills that will help you pay your bills while you continue to practice, continue to take auditions, or continue to work on your creative projects. I asked Dr. Gertz what skills can turn into sustainable funds so that you can continue to do this.
Okay, let's be an adult. Let's make some money.
Great.
So, yeah.
So what are like the main sources of income for you as a musician?
Almost always it's been teaching, to be honest. I have played in a lot of orchestras and that helped a lot, but it's seasonal, depending on where I live. Like I was in Eugene and there was one orchestra there, so I played once a month with them. But that's, $400 or $500 for the month, and then you gotta get the rest of it, right, somewhere else. So.
What are some sources of income that you've been able to generate that you might not have expected as a musician?
Oh, I actually have been able to do some accompanying because I studied piano when I was young, and I sometimes feel like, I don't want to take money for that because I'm not a real pianist. I didn't get a degree in piano, but that has been a nice, kind of pleasant surprise when it comes up that I have the skill, so I might as well use it. And I accompany my own students, so I keep practicing in that sense. The other thing is administrative work, actually. Part of my assistantships have been, just because you kind of have to do what they say, have been things like grading papers. So I get kind of practice doing that. But then in Oregon, one of my jobs was to do planning outreach concerts for the pedagogy department. They had like 80 little kids. And I had to do all the programs for that. So I learned firsthand how to, all the work that goes into communicating with the parents and putting a program together and getting some of the outreach done. So I didn't make extra money doing that. That was part of my assistantship, but when I struck out on my own and created my own music school in New Orleans, I realized that was a skill that came in handy.
Yes, it is hard to build a musical career, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Society may make you feel like music is not a real job, but for many, including myself, music is not just a hobby. If you feel like it's what you're really meant to do, music can be your life, and it can be your career. Let's check in again with Lois about this.
A lot of people are discouraged from going into music because they feel like it's, a frivolous artistic venture and isn't really a serious way to support yourself. A lot of parents think that it's okay for kids to study music for them to get into college, but then they should go to medical school.
Yeah.
So do you feel like this is true, or can you give any advice to any aspiring musicians out there?
Yeah, I think that is, I'm going to probably not tell you exactly what you want to hear, but I
know the truth.
I think it's completely individual. The reason I say that is that for me, there is no other way. I have tried at one point being discouraged, so discouraged at one point where I thought, I was just put down. I felt like I would never reach my goal of getting in an orchestra. And that meant that I should quit, pretty much. So I tried to get into music management. I took some business classes and stuff like that. And I didn't realize it, but I was miserable. And it was just the discouragement that I felt like I didn't have support at the time. When I actually did have support, I didn't see it. So once I asked for that support, then I was able to see this is really the only thing that I want to do. And I remember an orchestra director of mine in high school saying, if you can do anything else, you should do that. And I was like, why is my orchestra director saying that to us? Like, isn't he supposed to support us in his profession, right? And now I come to understand that is really true. That I think each person has to really look seriously at what they want to do, what they want with their life. Because if you want I think security though is a very what is that called? It's not real. People think they have a job,
okay,
and they have their benefits and stuff, and so they're secure. I don't think that is real. I think that it's an illusion. However, I think there are some ways that, for example, for myself, as a self-employed person, I can put measures in place that I can feel secure, but I have to be on it. I have to have a budget. I have to have some money going towards retirement. Taking care of my health. Not just taking care of things so that I'm not gonna have to. One crisis means that I have to go asking for money for my family, or that I'm going to be on the street or whatever. But I think if someone really has that passion for it, you shouldn't be discouraged by the status quo when people are saying, you can do that for a living, really? It's like, I mean, people are YouTube, video
musicians, makers, creators. Okay.
That's what they do. The people are writers. That's what they do. People. There are all kinds of ways to make a living, and the thing is, even if you temporarily don't work in music, or you do something else to support that. I've been a barista. I've been a choir director. I've worked in office, in the summers. That doesn't mean I quit being a musician, because I need to, what's that called? Supplement my income. I'm really lucky that I love teaching, because I turned my focus from orchestra playing to teaching, which, unless you have a full-time orchestra job, I feel is the most lucrative, way. to make a living. But I think that's the way in most of the arts.
Like a lot of kids in music school, I started out by putting on little musical projects, little public performances, but these barely ever pay anything at all. And it took a long time performing before you start to make any money. But one important thing that I learned while doing this is that it doesn't really matter if you have all the technical aspects worked out if you forget this one important concept that I alluded to earlier, and that is connection. People want to connect with people. That's why they go to concerts. And if you can provide that connection, you will be able to fund your mission. Whether that's providing music for a specific slice of the population or providing music for society at large. A really cool book that provides great information on how to do this is Beyond Talent by Angela Beeching. It provides a lot of the technical details and kind of how-tos. It's really dense, but you don't have to read it cover to cover like I did, which takes a while. You can just look up what you need in the index, like maybe funding your recording project or maybe having outreach concerts, and it'll give you really clear and concise information on how to get started doing that. They're not paying me to say any of this, I just really like this book. So if you want to go out and get it, I'll have a link in the description on where to find more information about it. And if you want to help me out with this channel, unlike the publishers of this book, you can do that by going down and subscribing below, or leaving me a comment in the comment sections on what you'd like me to talk about next, or maybe how you felt I covered the topic in this video. As always, I really appreciate you guys watching these videos. I appreciate all the support I've gotten with this channel. Thank you so much. And don't forget to be awesome. And keep singing, keep playing, and good luck.